12 men, no money, no weapons, no political power. Most of them were simple fishermen or outcasts, yet they dismantled the greatest empire on earth. This wasn't a coincidence, it was a calculated strategy of sacrifice. This is a brief of Jesus' 12 apostles. St. Peter was the rock of the movement, but he was a cracked one. He was impulsive, prone to fear, and even denied knowing his leader 3 times when the pressure was highest. Failure does not end the mission, it qualifies the leader. Peter took his message to the absolute heart of the Roman Empire. When the end finally came, he made one final humble demand: crucify him upside down. He refused to die like a god. Then there was Andrew, Peter's brother. He was the quiet recruiter. He spent his life moving north into the wild territories of modern Ukraine and Greece. Even when they pinned him to an X-shaped cross, he did not stop. He reportedly preached for 2 days from that cross until his voice finally failed him. James and John were known as the sons of thunder, men with fiery temperaments. James the Great became the first of the group to be executed, beheaded in Jerusalem. His brother John, however, was the survivor. He was the only one to die of old age, outliving the empire's attempts to kill him and documenting the entire vision from a lonely island. Matthew was a tax collector, a man hated by his own people for working with the Roman occupiers. His inclusion was a strategic move. It proved the message was for everyone, even those considered traitors. He traveled over 2,500 kilometers to Ethiopia, where he was killed while worshiping. The taxman had finally found something money could not buy. Thomas is famous for his doubt, but his actions tell a different story. He did not just ask for proof, he took that proof 4,000 kilometers into India. He established communities that still exist today before he was killed while praying on a hill. Doubt did not stop the mission, it fueled the journey. Philip, the practical seeker, and Bartholomew, the honest skeptic, pushed the borders into modern-day Turkey and Armenia. Bartholomew's end was the most brutal of all. He was flayed alive. This was not just death, it was the ultimate proof of conviction. You do not suffer like that for a lie. Simon the Zealot was a political revolutionary, a man trained for violent rebellion. But he traded his sword for a spiritual mission. He and Jude pushed into Persia, where Simon was reportedly sawed in half. They moved from fighting for a country to dying for a cause. Then there's the great betrayal. Judas Iscariot, the treasurer who turned against the mission for 30 pieces of silver. When his guilt consumed him, the group did not collapse. They used a replacement strategy, choosing Matthias to fill the gap. It proved that the mission was bigger than any one individual. Finally, Paul, the former hunter of this movement, became its greatest architect. He was beheaded in Rome, but his letters became the blueprint for the modern world. These men did not just die, they planted a conviction that survived lions, fires, and empires. The apostles proved a single tactical truth. You cannot stop a man who is willing to die for what he has seen. They broke the world's power by surrendering their own. This is a brief of. We deconstruct the strategy behind history's most influential lives. Subscribe to see whose blueprint we analyze next.